Alright, so let's solve this once again. Another interesting and beautiful chess endgame. White to move and draw. As you can see, this black king is just step to capture this f4, g4, f4, g5, and black has extra pawn to become a queen. Unfortunately for black, this is white to move and draw. The right timing, the right move, the right square is very important in order for you to save your position. For example, you gotta move your king to, let's say, try to support this pawn or try to find a opposition immediately. But this is a loose game after you move your king going here. King can go to h2 or g1, but let's go first. Go to g2 because after of king g4, there is no way for white to support the f4. Let's try to king g1. Let's go with the opposition, and then oppose, capture, and then oppose. And after king f5, king f3. This is the ideal position if you want to win your position with the pawn. King space, king space and pawn. So that is how you win this kind of endgame. Pawn and king versus king. Why? Because there's a pawn and there's a space, meaning you can use the space for your pawn, and this king is forced to move away. Then you gotta go move forward, sideward to help this pawn become a queen. Even if we will continue this one, oppose, king space pawn again, and then let's go here, king g3, and then let's try to at least this is obviously king f1, oppose again, and this is, let's go back to our original position. Okay, so moving the king is a bad move or a loose game for white. Pushing this pawn is also a bad move because just king takes g5 and there's no way for white to save the pawn and no way to find the opposition, same position like earlier with king, space, and pawn. So what is the best move? Let's go back. Sacrificing your pawn. Which pawn? G6. Of course, if you will capture with the king, obviously that's a draw. King g2 after, let's say, go here and then pawn versus pawn, that's a dead draw. Let's go back. So after g6, capture with the pawn, and then another sacrifice. Of course, pawn is forced to capture that one. If, for example, you're gonna go here, and then king g2, g4, and then king g3. Even if you protect this pawn and attack this pawn, pawn will just push capture and then capture. That's draw. Let's go back. So after g6, pawn takes, that is force, capture, and now pawn takes. And this is another critical moment for white. Why? Because if you will go to h2, that's a bad move. And you gotta go king g2, another bad move. Why? Because the king will oppose you. King f2 oppose you after you move anywhere on e2 or g2. King will just move sideward, assisting the pawn going to f1. So what is the best move? g6, capture, capture. You will not go to h2 or g2, h2 opposition, same like earlier. So not h2, not g2, but g1. Okay, there's an opposition, and here you will not go here again because of the opposition. Where you gonna go? King to f1. And there is no way for black to oppose the white king. Let's say king f4, king f4, king f2. This is a draw game now. King g4, oppose, and once the king and the pawn is in lining in one rank, this is a draw game. Why? King f2, this king cannot oppose the king, so let's say push the pawn, go here, and stalemate draw.